Hello, warriors. Welcome to the U Movement. In the theme of authenticity, which I said I would do on my awakening to show you what awakenings can be like, you can see I'm got major tremors today, major shaking, a lot of fear and anxiety is coming up to be purged. I'm trying to roll with it and not judge myself for it, because nobody really kind of wants to be a shaking, kind of quivering person. But even though I'm physically shaking, which, when you think about it, an animal in times of stress will shake it off. So I'm trying to shake it off. So excuse my jumpiness. Hopefully, as I continue talking, I'll calm myself down, because it's been a day. It's been a day. Yes, we all have fears, and we all have things that we don't have experience with or get overwhelmed with. And mine are all coming up today. Had a 6th dentist visit today. Not the 6th visit, the 6th dentist, because I had another filling. It went painless and smooth. He's going to give me a referral to an oral surgeon. So that was part of my day, and well, dentists always give me anxiety at this stage. And then it's been a day. My lawyer has been on the phone to me a number of times. Emails have been going back and forth as we're trying to bring this legal battle that has been one of my greatest triggers of my life finally to resolution. And so every single step of the way today, tying up all the loose ends, there's been a hurdle. There's been nothing is going smoothly. There's been a problem, one problem after another. So not only was I dealing with lawyers today, I was dealing with tax offices, so government officials, and I was dealing with insurance brokers, and it's and then lawyers. So it's like we'll throw a banker in there too, even though I wasn't dealing with her directly. It's like my penultimate of nightmares. I had a lot of fear of authority. I've got some smoothie on my face. I had a lot of fear of authority because when you're raised with a narcissistic parent, a maternal parent, they are your first and primary authority in your life. And so when you can't trust your primary authority, all authorities become a little bit suspect and a little bit or a lot PTSD inducing, because even though everybody's been working incredibly hard for me on my team, and I greatly appreciate that. It's still, each phone call is bringing up a lot of inner child stuff that, I was told my whole life I was incapable of doing anything, and that I was, a fuck up and a failure. And for that reason, even though I had warned my mother on multiple occasions that if we didn't resolve the transfer of the property before she died, there would be massive tax issues, and it would be very complicated, convoluted. And so as she owned my house, I've never owned a house before. And the will was written so incredibly terribly and then for some unknown reason, she hired a bank in the back of beyond in the middle of nowhere in Canada to be the executor, which doesn't make much sense because we live in Ontario, and that's like the financial capital of Canada. So to hire a bank based out of Saskatoon made no sense. She fired her lawyer in the last 6 months of her life and hired another one that quickly drafted a really very badly drafted will that left us in this situation. So I have one sibling, and he and I were the beneficiaries, but there was no way to divide the will up. And all attempts I kept making, you know, because I didn't know the rabbit hole I was going down when they said to me 3 years ago, I don't even know. What year did my mother die? 2022. 2022. They asked, you know, do you want to keep your house? And I said, well, I can't. I would like to if I can. Can I? Question mark. And then that set in motion a machine that gobbled me up and has held me ensnared in something I couldn't escape from, even though I was trying to very desperately, because they said, well, we're not going to negotiate with you unless you hire a lawyer, and we're not going to negotiate with your brother unless he does the same. So they pitted us against each other, and he and I both wanted to come up with like an equitable and fair deal, but he also recognized that, you know, he wanted to help me keep my house, but nobody was giving us any numbers and nobody was letting us know anything, and it was being ensnared in this and having this threat of losing my house out from under me and not having anywhere to go in the middle of a Kundalini awakening, in the middle of getting divorced. Yeah, it's just been such a shit show, my life for the last 5 years. You know, I haven't been able to work other than what I do for the U movement. You know, I've been plugging my attention in as much as I can there to build a business for myself while having this crazy awakening. And because I lost my job in 2019, and I was like, okay, well, I have to put my health first. I have to save myself. I can't do any work if I can't work, if I can't physically work. So I rode out assistance for as long as I could, and then I've been riding my credit cards, and then whatever money that the kids provide for me. If you don't know, I have 3 young people that live with me that I consider to be my soul kids. I love them very much, and you know, I feel a sense of responsibility to be able to provide them with a safe place too. You know, there's reasons why they don't live at home, and I want to be able to like give them the safety that they never had. So, and then I have my cat, and so I have these responsibilities. And for a while, my son and his girlfriend were living here. And you know, he would like me to live locally to him so that he has access to me when he would like, and I would like that too, because family is a priority to me. But this whole thing has been once ensnared, with this legal situation. So forewarning to anybody who has aging parents, where there are assets involved. You do want to make sure you have a well-drafted will, where there's not going to be any, pitting family against each other. Luckily, my brother and I are not, we're not overly close, but we're not hostile towards each other. He's got his own stuff going on, and I have mine. So we've been wanting to have this resolved, but it seems like what to me should have been, an hour or two long Zoom call to like work out the details turned into a year and a half of lawyer letters being sent back and forth and negotiating terms in which, he could become my private mortgagee, so that the estate could be equalized fair. So so this has been a massive trigger, and I practice what I preach. Triggers are an incredible opportunity for healing. Triggers are an opportunity to shake and release in the soma, so that the body can release what's trapped in it, and in so doing, release the emotions that come with it. So today it's been a very PTSD inducing kind of day, with a lot of anxiety, and I've been in my observer all day of observing. Okay, you're shaking. Okay, you're feeling panic. Okay, you're doing a good job. Every hurdle that came, I was like, okay, deal with the next thing. So I was able to make phone calls and speak clearly to the people on the other end of what was needed to happen. And one by one, kind of resolved these things. And so now I'm kind of sitting in the energy of, you've done the best you could. There's a couple little things that are still hanging. I'm supposed to be signing documents tomorrow, which would resolve the first part of this. The majority, there would still be some stuff that needs sorting out after, but it would resolve things for me, and secure my home for me. And along this journey, because I've been triggered so much, and it's felt like that scene from the piano where she's wrapped around hemp ropes that are attached to the mast, which is broken off, and she's being sucked down. And so I was being sucked down and triggered routinely over the last, as I said, 2 years-ish. And sorry, it's important, I think, that you see what is other people wouldn't put on camera, and I do that. I do that this is a side. I show my pictures of when I'm crying and when I'm down, and do videos when I'm shaking and when I'm, distraught, because in being in my truth, in my vulnerability, I give somebody else the permission that I was never given to feel. Because when you were never given the permission to feel, in fact, the opposite, you were punished severely for having feelings, for being upset at being abused, or being angry at the circumstances, or, when you get raged at when you're a young child, absolutely you're fearful and frightened. And then when you go through all the mental, sorry, I don't know if you can hear in the background, they're playing some video games. You go through a lot to repress and suppress emotions. And so I show my stuff widely because I want to give somebody the green light that it's okay to feel. You may look funny. You may feel like you look funny. You may shake. You may cry. I didn't cry today, which is like unbelievable. So I'm considering myself having done a good job. I'm assessing myself like that, despite my egoic mind and my inner critic being activated, and most importantly, that little PTSD monster that likes to whisper in your ear that, you know, this is going to be a disaster, and no, this is it's all going to blow up. It's all going to like turn to shit. And I'm just like, shh, shh, shh. The mind wants to run like 5 feet, 50 feet, 50 days in front of me into, you know, I'm going to be on the streets destitute because, you know, they're going to take all my money, or, you know, like it doesn't need to be realistic. It's a lot of my fears along this awakening have not been realistic. They have been out there. You know, I figured being a bank that, you know, they were trying to screw us over as much as they possibly could. And, you know, that's not that far in the realm of not possible, you know. You know, I wasn't saying that they were like alien species coming down, you know. I was saying, hey, it's a bank and their reputations aren't that great, and this scares the crap out of me because, you know, is this a little bit of a ploy to get purposefully deny people numbers and then get family members to argue, and then, you know, you get to just keep taking from the estate for as long as you're managing it, right? So you don't actually want resolution. So every single time there's been a delay and another delay and another delay, I've been like, struggling with trust. And so this has been a continual challenge, poking at all of my wounds of fear of authority, and my wounds of not knowing, and my wounds of not having stability and safety on top of everything else, and then my wounds of trust. Because ultimately it comes down to the question of, do I trust the divine? Do I trust that no matter what I see that's going on in my 3D that's triggering me is not what's going on? It's not the whole story. It's one small little part of the story. The same with, you know, this dental stuff. It's one story here on the 3D, but from a spiritual point of view, it's got so many more stories and probably more things that I don't even know yet, you know. Like when I'm fully open, maybe I'll have more memory of ancestral wounds that would be associated with teeth. I did used to have a recurring dream when I was little, the sitting there and spitting my teeth out. Yeah, I didn't like that dream very much. And I did have a past life vision of myself as a shaman in the Mayan forests in Mexico, which is probably why I'm have an affinity to Mexico so much. And I smiled and I had like one tooth. So teeth is probably something that's a bigger meaning. You know, you can look into a lot of the karma stuff. You can also look into like the spiritual meanings of not feeling stable and secure. And I certainly haven't felt stable or secure. Supported is the word, because your gums are supporting your teeth, and your teeth represent repressed anger and repressed rage. So yeah, you can look at anything that's going on in your life like this, like a close-up through a microscope, which is how ego likes to do it and how PTSD likes to do it. Let's pick this apart and look at it from every single worst case that could potentially happen. And then you can look at it from this lens, which is the lens of the higher self. And we're in this process of transitioning ourselves from this to this. And that process of transitioning is like dying and being reborn. And I mentioned in the video the other day that, you know, I felt like I'd been reborn. And I feel today like I'm back in labor pains. So I will be born anew again as a bigger version of myself than I currently am, because as I said, I've never been a homeowner before. I've never done a lot of the things that I'm being asked to do now. And at the same time, I'm doing it all by myself. And well, I have the support of the young ones that live with me, but you know, I always thought that I would have a husband, you know, navigating this kind of stuff with me. And Spirit said no to that and put me in. Good thing that it did. And you know, here I am on my own, trying to navigate through my own divine masculine energy and my own divine feminine energy and keep them in balance, because my feminine is feeling very vulnerable and very overwhelmed, and my masculine is as well. My masculine is as well, saying, you know, I need to protect not just me, but I want to protect those around me, because I want to care for them. But at the same time, I'm letting go of toxic attachments, because along this process, it's a little bit funny, because what I've observed in many people, because I now deal with many people who are on this awakening journey, friends as well as clients. And the one thing I observe over and over again is the things you hold on to most are the things you'll be asked to give up. And what's funny is I didn't want to hold on to the house. I was ready and prepared to let it go more times than not, because I felt like, as I said, I was being pulled down, and I was like, I'm sorry guys, I've tried my best. I want to like tell them to sell, and I've tried so many times to be like, just sell it, just liquidate everything and just sell it, and you know, if I can get just a little bit to go and start somewhere from scratch, I'll do that. I've always been a nomad, you see, most of my life. I moved out of my home the first time briefly at age 16, and then permanently at age 17 or 18. You know, I was trying to get out there as quickly as possible. And from there, I moved and moved and moved. You know, I moved into the college town I went to, which is Sault Ste. Marie. And then I moved to the university town that I went to, which is Peterborough. And then I moved to Huntsville for a little bit of time. And then I moved to Japan, Tokyo, and I taught English for a while. Then I came back and lived in Toronto for a stretch. And then I moved to Ireland. And when I was in Ireland, I traveled independently, you know, so I've always been a little bit of a nomad out there, searching for my people, searching for my place, searching. And then in 2009, when I met my ex, I guess I met him actually in 2008, I landed in this town that I live in now, which is Cambridge, Ontario. And I decided upon the town because there was a heron on the sign, and I was like, I guess this is where I'm living, because I had been looking at places closer to my parents, because I was they were going to help me move home finally after 10 years because my dad had fallen ill. Because before that I wasn't, they didn't want me to come home. When I was pregnant and a single parent in a foreign country, they said, I made my bed, now go lie in it. So I was a single mom in a foreign country and didn't have a lot of resources. And then finally, when my dad fell ill, they're like, okay, we'll help you come home now. And I ended up here. And of all the places I've lived in the world, I like this place the least. It's a very strange town. I don't mean offense to anyone who lives in this town, but it's 3 city centers, so it's a very kind of schizophrenic town. There's like, it's not like a community at all, you know? And so I've been trying to leave this place for a long time, a long time. So when things were, you know, I was getting squeezed more and more, I kept saying to my lawyer, just sell. It's okay. I don't care. It's just a house. Just sell. And he's like, we can't, if you sell, you're going to get sued and you're going to lose a lot of your money. And I was like, well, I don't want to have that happen. You know, the threat of being sued was what got me into the mess in the first place. So I definitely don't want more threats of being sued hanging over my head. So I bring this up because I've noticed, and it's important to note for those out there that follow me and watch me, is, you know, the things that you hold on to. If you really love your house and you want to stay there and it's your favorite place on earth, and spirit's like, no, that you're not in the right location, you won't be able to keep it. And equally on the other side of the spectrum, if you're like, it's okay, I'll just be a nomad, it's okay, I'll go live in a shack with a pet goat and my cat, and I'll figure it out. And the spirit's like, no, you're exactly where you need to be. So we're all on a grid. I don't know if I've talked a lot about the grid of light, but if you want to visualize, you know, the earth, and then around the earth, all these grid lines. So the earth itself has chakras, and then it also has sacred sites, where it's like there's portals of energy that are very powerful. I've been to a good few of these sacred sites, and you know, they're magical. You can feel it. You can feel the energy. One of which was Fatima in Portugal. But there's sacred sites all over. In Ireland, there were a good few that I visited, and in Canada, there's also a good few that I visited. So those are like big portals. They're like hubs, energetic hubs, and then those energetic hubs disperse out and create this grid that goes completely and utterly around the globe. And us as light workers, we are divinely placed right where you are supposed to be, whether you like it or not, you know. So if you have a high attachment to some place, spirit might say that attachment is too much, and so we're going to move you to a different place, which is where you need to be. Or another alternative is we're going to let you be a little bit nomadic for a little bit of time so that you can know what it's like to be disconnected. So I've never been connected, and Spirit's been holding me for my divine good, even though my ego's been freaking out this entire time. And now I'm right at the, like, tomorrow morning is when I head off, and I'm right at this, the precipice of a rebirth, another rebirth. And I've had to, like, become humbled and say, you know, and I think Spirit delayed things on purpose for a long period of time until I got the message, which was, you're not allowed to run away. You have to stay. You have to stay put. So even though today was harrowing, and I mean harrowing because there was just so many screw ups that needed to be addressed. You know, this bank that was managing, there was outstanding taxes on the house, and so I'm like, I have to pay for that. There was a lapse in insurance, and I'm like, I have to pay for that. I have to get that organized. And so there is a mad scramble to get everything organized that I need to get organized. And then tomorrow I go in and, that'll be more. So at this stage, because with the whole insurance thing, it was like my egoic mind was like, this is going to end in disaster. And when the quote came in, I was like, are things actually working out for me? Is spirit holding up its end of the bargain? Spirit has been keeping me here all of this time that I would have left. And it's like trying to integrate a new reality that things are actually seem to be working out for me. It is breaking that mistrust, root chakra. So my root chakra, my low back has been like, the energy is just, Kundalini is just flowing through me something fierce today, because it's like, we're purging this shit out. You need to stand in your power. You've got big things to do in this world, and I'm like, I know I do, but how do I do that? I have to get through this. I have to get through this new portal of sorts, birth myself anew into something where I can trust that it's all working out. And trust is one of the hardest things I've ever had to cultivate. All the way along this journey, I've been saying, cultivate this, cultivate that, cultivate. And cultivating trust, safety, security, trust, all of these things that not only trust in myself, that, I can do it, even though I was told so many times in my life that I wasn't, which is why I created the program called ABLE. Please check out the ABLE playlist if you haven't watched that, because that's what helped transform me in the first part of the journey, and my physical form is utilizing the ABLE program. And then cultivate trust in authority figures, especially trust in lawyers. Like, I don't know if I was a lawyer in a past life, but I'm thinking I was an asshole, is what I'm thinking. There's got to be some karma that I'm clearing with this, for sure. And then, presenting, and then I also had a dentist appointment today. So yeah, let's add a little bit more to the mix, because this cocktail of panic and anxiety isn't quite big enough yet. So we'll just add another element in there. And trust in other people showing up for me and showing me support. Like the support that I've been getting as of late, it has been incredible. And, my soul kids are incredible. They're very understanding and supportive. And of course they want it all to work out because it's their home, and they're safe here. Nobody gets raged at in this home. And then ultimately trust in the divine. Trust that the divine is in fact leading me for my highest and greatest good. So, you see me in a place of a lot of faith at a lot of times. And it's, I think, important to note that even those that have faith that, yes, this awakening is happening, everything's happening for my highest and greatest good, Spirit will provide what I need when I need it. I can have a lot of faith, but then on the other side, I can also experience overwhelming doubt, fear, panic, anxiety, all of those, and mistrust, because, I think it's a natural process that we ask the question, when we're trying to lean into spirit and surrender to spirit, there's a little bit of, well, why weren't you there for me then? Where have you been? Where are you now? especially in the void. It feels very quiet and silenced, where, the void has not been my favorite. I much preferred the bliss phase where I was doing the ABLE program every day and making huge leaps and strides on my physical health. And, so that's what it's been. It's been a mission of unfuckening, and it's been a long and arduous and brutal one. First I had to unfuck my health, because if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And with my health, I had to address what was causing the ill health to begin with, and that was a very toxic relationship. So word to the wise, and anybody who's be forewarned, if you choose to stay in toxicity, it will make you sick. It will make you physically sick, emotionally sick, mentally sick. It will just fuck you up in all kinds of ways you can't even fathom. And it takes years to recover from. Years. And then all of the toxic behaviors that I myself had, because I couldn't have been in a toxic relationship if I wasn't toxic. I was toxic as fuck. I had no boundaries. I had no self-love. I had a whole bunch of coping mechanisms to help me numb, so I didn't have to feel anything, so I could put up and shut up, so I could grit my teeth and bear it. So I was blind to so many things, like so many things. All my spiritual gifts were numbed out, and it was bad. You've seen my before pictures, but it's too bad you can't see it from the inside point of view of what I needed to do to focus to get my health. And even with this chronic pain, which is a subset of that, I cured most of my health conditions. I took care of that. I was able. And then spirit plummets you into dark night of the soul, where you have to purge and purify out all of your trauma wounds, all your inner child wounds, all your shadow, and go through a lot of stuff that defies any sort of reason. It was terrifying at times. It was very terrifying at times. It got dark. It got really dark. And then I had to, go through the recovery process of Dark Night of the Soul, and the recovery process of what comes after escaping from a toxic situation, and all the while having, chronic pain as well as this legal battle. So awakenings hit you at every single way possible they can hit you. Anywhere that you have attachments, anywhere that you have toxic patternings, it's the fuckeries. It's gonna squeeze and squeeze and squeeze you for your unfucking. It just appliance might break. I went through a cycle of appliances breaking on me as well. So it's just from the little to the big. All of a sudden things feel a little bit like you're having a dumpster fire, and you're calling that your life. So I want to show you in real time that it's okay. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be sad, overwhelmed, full of doubt. It's okay. I'm giving you permission, because nobody gave me permission to do that. In fact, I got judged very harshly for being human, for emoting, for being sensitive, for being an empath, for a lot of my greatest gifts. And I'm defiant in my rebel archetype, in that I won't let anyone make me feel ashamed, or feel less than, or feel not good enough, because I have PTSD and I shake in scary situations, or I cry when a song comes on, reminds me of that special someone. So I'm just, I'm going to radically rebel against all limitations placed on my beingness. And if I crumble and fall and it all turns to shit like my ego wants to convince me of, then so be it. Like, I just don't care anymore. I just don't care. If I've done nothing else but show people the fortitude of somebody that's just been slammed over and over and over again. It's like that song by Chumbawamba, I fall down, I get up again. I fall down, I get up again. And that's what I'll just keep on doing. I'll just keep on doing. And if that's my exercise, if that's God's way of making me do push-ups, which I don't like to do, then I'll do it. I'll do it because I'm going to surrender to whatever comes, and whatever comes might be I'm here in my home, and I've promised God if this does all materialize, I'm not going to run away. I'm going to give these kids everything that they weren't given before, and be a safe and stable place, and find a way to make it work. Unfuck my money is the next mountain, but I'm less worried about that one. I've done everything I can possibly do. I've done the best under the most insane circumstances ever. Like, Kundalini awakenings are insane. They are absolutely insane, because it's not like you get to just, I don't know, up from your life and peacefully go sit by a Bodhi tree and somebody makes you food at a monastery and takes care of all your basic needs. No, you have to go through the process of a spiritual awakening whilst trying to still survive in a world that is so far from supporting spiritual awakenings. But then you also have to trust that no matter what happens, no matter what money is lost, no matter what is lost, no matter where you're moved to, that it is all for your divine good. It's all orchestrated for your highest and greatest good. And so all of this is just like, while I'm doing this, it's kind of like kneading the dough. It's making something take form. And I wish I could have been perhaps more graceful in my death and rebirth cycle. I was put down for that too. Whatever. I dare anyone to walk in my shoes of what I've been through in the last 5 years and not shake, and not, I'm doing this so cold sober for the first time in my life. I'm allowing myself to feel, and I'm not telling myself bullshit about, like, oh, you got to be happy, and if you're not happy, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. This is a normal human response to the most stress ever. Like, devastation is a normal human response when your life collapses in dark night of the soul. Depression is a normal human response when your human avatar says, I'm so sick of this bullshit. I'm so sick of living like this. I give up. Anger is a normal and healthy response to being abused. And oftentimes, because of how abuse cycles are, we're split into two subcategories where we see everything with rose-colored glasses, and then occasionally we see the truth, and we keep gaslighting ourselves. We learn what gaslighting does is eventually we learn to gaslight ourselves. We learn to say, you shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't respond like that. Be happy. Be grateful. Be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. Well, if what I have is lying to me, manipulating me, triangulating me, raging at me, financially abusing me, and doing a whole bunch of reactionary abuse, why the fuck should I be grateful for any of that? Why should I be grateful somebody stole my safety from me? Why should I just get over it? That's unnatural. So I'm going to be natural. I'm going to be a natural human person that shakes when there's stress to get the energy out. I'll try my best to not shake tomorrow while I'm in my lawyer's office. But if I shake, I shake. And so, I don't know, they'll think I have Parkinson's or something. It is what it is. And, you know, maybe once this is all finished, I'll find a little piece of me to tap back into a little bit of anger of having to go through all this process, because I haven't felt really a lot of anger in years. You know, there's been little spurts of anger, but I think anger is a good thing to express, to release. There's a sacredness in rage. There's a sacredness in hatred. There's a sacredness in both of those, because both of those energies allow you to say, no, this isn't for me, I'm gone. This is wrong. I don't agree with this. I deserve better than this. I'm worth more than this. So those types of energies are very valuable. And when we negate them, we end up staying in places we shouldn't stay, and way too long. So, sorry, I'm not plugged in there. So I'm kind of rambling a little bit, maybe not. I wanted to come on and share with you what's happening. And tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. And I'm going to do it like I always do everything, which is one step at a time. I'm not going to let my mind race months in advance and worry about what's due in May when it's not May. I'm going to do it one breath at a time, and allow myself to feel the anxiety and comfort and care for myself in the anxiety, instead of judging myself for having anxiety. Hell, after this, I'm gonna be very comfortable around lawyers. So I am. I'm not gonna have the same fear that I always had around lawyers and bankers and authorities. So yes, I've been tested a lot on facing the fear of authorities. So I'm going to be proud of myself for facing all of the things that I've had to face, and contact the peoples that I've had to contact, and do all the adulting that I'm doing on my own, and I'm doing sober, and I'm doing pretty damn good as far as I'm concerned, even if I'm shaking. So yes, I hope that my message hits home with some of you guys that think that because things are going shitty, first of all, things going shitty is an awakening. That's built into the program. And you're not going to judge yourself or be mean to yourself or try to deny it or repress it, because these emotions have to come up to be released. So yes, this is for my highest and greatest good, regardless of what the results are. I surrender to God, and I will follow instructions instead of leading. Yes, I am now a follower. See, duality keeps collapsing. Where you are one's extreme of anything, you will be brought into the opposite polarization. So check yourself if you think you know things and you are right. If you are right about certain things, Spirit will keep bashing you about a good bit until you come back into neutrality. So as it stands, you know, I'm like, the medical world is good and bad. I'm in the middle somewhere. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones. Lawyers, bankers, insurance brokers, I'm sure there's good ones and bad ones. Politicians, I'm sure there's good ones and bad ones. Things that I observe may not be what is real. So there's no point judging it because something bigger is at play. Not to get too caught up into the dramas of one-sided viewpoints is a huge theme that is dropping many anvils on my head and coming back into a balanced in-between place. And that's what this awakening has been like for the last 3 years, anyways, 3-4 years, is rest and then action. Feminine and then masculine. Light and then dark. Fear and then faith. Like, seriously. And it feels like lately it's been a little bit more like a metronome. It's a little bit faster, these things that are happening almost on the daily. There's different energies that are coming in. So whatever energy you are in, you're exactly where you need to be. Wherever you are being led is exactly where you need to go. Wherever you are feeling this or feeling that, just feel it. Just feel it. Just feel it without shame. Just feel it without anything, you know? I know more than ever now where I was always in my strength, a very masked version of strength, a very padded version of strength. It was my most my greatest weakness. Being strong all the time was very weak. Whereas when I became very weak, I learned what real strength is. Real strength is found lying in the grass, unable to move, terrified beyond belief. That is strength. Standing up, pretending you're strong, that's not strength. That's weakness. See, it's the world of opposites. Everything's gone into its opposite energy so that you can learn all the karmic lessons and bring you back into a place of balance, harmony, peace. I do hope that's where we're heading. I'm going to have a couple more bumpy roads and a couple more mountains to climb to unfuck one thing after another. But I can tell you what I've learned on this path is first and foremost, unfuck your body. Without your body, the rest is not going to come into place. After your body, you're going to have to unfuck your emotions. You're going to have to start letting them have a life and be expressed through you and not judge them one way or another. And then you're going to have to unfuck your mind. And for trauma-minded people, that one's a challenge. That one's a real challenge, to control that little monkey thing that runs around screaming at you and often lies to you, and sometimes your thought is even your own. So learning that your mind's going to do whatever it wants to do, and you need to sit back here and watch your mind and go, oh, look at you go again. There you go, spinning out. It's okay. This too shall pass. And so then we're unfucking our connection to the divine. And then we go on in life to continue to unfuck our housing situations, our romantic situations, our friendships, our monetary energies, our career callings, you know. So you just want to look at an awakening as one massive unfuckening. with many mountains and many things to course correct on. And usually course correcting is putting you completely 180 degrees in the opposite direction of where you started from. You just gotta roll with the punches as best you can, So with that all said, I'm sending you all of my love in this energy that's fluctuating still, and it will continue to fluctuate until, I suppose, we're just all levitating. So if you're not levitating, then you're still ascending. Nobody has awakened. It always annoys me when I hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm awakened." And I'm like, "Wow, you are? That's amazing. Can you fly?" Like, we're awakening. It's a verb. It's a continual process. I'm not awakened. I'm awakening, and I have been awakening for a really, really long time. And I don't levitate yet. I still shake. So that means there's still more work for me to do. And when I levitate, I'll let you know. And if you need help, on any of those areas, you need help in your physical body and you're really struggling with stuff. That one was, in my opinion, the easiest, but that's not to say that it is the easiest. I'm not stating it is the easiest. It's not easy. I'm stating, for me, in comparison to the other schools, emotion school, mental school, and spiritual school, and now I'm in 3D school, I guess. In comparison to all those, the body was relatively my comfort zone. But I passed that test, and I passed the emotions test, because now I allowed myself to freely emote anything I want. And I still am working at the mental jibber jabber. It is what it is what it is. I'm still working on cultivating trust and faith. But while I'm still working, I still have lots of things that I can share to help others that are going through difficult awakening paths and are experiencing a lot of difficult ascension symptoms. Maybe you just want to, discuss your toxic relationship and see what you're stuck in and you want your way out, or, maybe you want to discuss some of your addictions. And that doesn't just mean substances, it can mean behaviors. So, yes, if you are interested in booking a one-on-one with me, I would very much love to meet you face-to-face and have a conversation and be able to come up with some tools and strategies that I have used to keep me going and have helped get me out of those areas that you might be still struggling with and you're needing help with. So I do all my services by donation. And so I have 3 price points. I'm bookable by the hour, and I look forward to working with you. And if you would like to do an oracle read, because they're just fun, and get some spiritual messages, I have that service as well for you. And if you would like to join the Spiritual Warriors Support Group over on Facebook, welcome yourself on over. The link for that is in the description of my videos. And within that is the Spiritual Warriors Support Group meetings that I am hosting on Sundays at 3 for an open discussion about what you're experiencing on the mental, emotional, physical, and anything else that you want to bring up and address. We'd love to have you join us, and that's by a small donation as well. Thank you, and thank you for all of the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, and everything else. I have lots of plans that I would like to implement moving forward on my channel, and we will see what Spirit directs and when and where and why and how and all of these. But there's a lot more in me that's yet to come after this next rebirth. I'm hoping to be in a lot more, after the fear comes the confidence. So I'm excited for that energy to flow in and to integrate into my reality that, you know, I can handle anything. If I can handle this, I can handle anything. I really can. Peace out.